In this episode, I'll show you how to paint this exterior door. What should you do to prevent drips? I'll also give you some practical tips on what you'll need while painting. So, are you curious? Make sure to keep watching. And today, I'm going to give you some tips on how to paint this exterior door properly. Many people often get drips in their paint, and they don't know where to start. I'm going to give you some practical tips on how to paint an exterior door. This door is definitely doable, even by you. It's important to know where to begin and what to do before you start with a door like this. So, I'm going to show you that. I'll set the camera up, and in the meantime, you can subscribe to my channel. There is still some sand at the bottom here and stones need to be added. So, to prevent sand from getting into your lower door frame, I'm going to place a piece of paper underneath. Then, I'll clean the floor completely, using an air compressor. Once the floor is properly clean, you'll clean the door with a bit of warm water to remove all the dust from it. Alright, I've now removed everything, including the vents and the strike plate. It's important to properly remove these parts. If that's not possible, carefully tape them off to keep them clean. I'll be painting the door soon, so keep watching as I also have a bonus tip to prevent frustration. I'm starting with the inner panels of the door, working right up to the corners and exactly on the edge. Make sure not to paint over the edge, as that will cause thickening. So, always paint right on the edge. I begin with the inner panels, carefully painting up to the edge. Why do I do it this way? It ensures that I seal the edges precisely with a single coat. Later, when you paint the long sections, these corners will receive a second layer of paint. This way, the edges have a nice, solid seal. That's why I start with the inner edges. I'll start painting now from the top and work my way down to the last edge. Use an almost dry brush, like this, and then work into these corners. Not too thick, or it will start dripping there. Keep the brush a bit empty, paint it neatly, and this way you won't get drips in this spot. Again, use an almost dry brush to carefully paint these corners. Then you'll have done it just right. I'm applying the paint at the top first. Make sure you go through that corner, from the bottom up. You can see it, and here, it's fine to overlap this section a bit. Next, you do the bottom part. There too, you can overlap slightly through the corner. Go right up to the corner, like this. Work up to the corner, and you'll have enough paint in this area already. So, all you need to do is pick up a bit of paint with a dry brush, like this. Then, using the back of the brush, I spread it outward. See? This way, you cover the corner without making it messy. Try to keep this as clean as possible. because you never know if something might happen where you have to leave, and then it's too thick here. So, always work right on the edges. Now, when that's done, move up a bit and carefully cut along this edge. See? This way, you're working neatly the whole time. Exactly on the edge. If you go slightly over, you can use the other side to wipe it clean. Keep it as clean as possible and right on the edge. While you're watching, give me as many thumbs up as possible so I stay motivated to keep making more videos for you. Once you've done that, apply the paint precisely along the top edge and a bit of the front. This way, the top edge, in a sense, gets a second layer. Do the same at the bottom, carefully painting through the bottom corner and up along the top edge. Most people end up with drips here. That happens because they go back for more paint in between, making it way too thick. So, what you do now is spread the paint from the top and bottom sections into the middle. That way, you have just enough paint for the whole area. Yes, I'm spreading it out like this, and then doing the same from the other side, like this. See? You can already see those strokes in there. So, you go in this direction, and then the other direction. This way, you have just enough paint across the entire panel, and it won't drip. Once you've done that, you can neatly spread it over the whole door. This can't drip anymore. That's a guarantee I can give you. You can do this too. Well, the inside is done, and you can see that I've stopped right at the edge each time. Now, I'm going to paint the side with the hinges, working my way up. Then, I'll do the horizontal section, and work my way back down. I'll set the camera to a distance to capture that. Well, I promised to give you one more bonus tip, and here it is. Once you've removed all the locks or hinges or whatever, make sure to put a piece of tape on the locks where the screws are still in place, like this. That way, you'll always have the right screws in the right spot. And when you're done, you can reassemble everything much faster. You won't have to search for screws that might have gotten lost or end up using the wrong screw in the wrong hole. This will help you work much faster. It's a bit different if you just have one door, but if you have to remove 10 locks, it's definitely handy to keep them together. So, just put a piece of tape on it, and you'll see how much easier it is to keep everything together without any frustration. Subscribe to my channel if you find value in this. Let the door dry for about 1 or 2 days before reattaching everything. Now, we just need to paint the white frame. When painting the frame, make sure not to accidentally smear paint onto the rubber seals, like it's been done here. You can clean this off, but I'm going to show you a good technique for painting neatly along those rubber seals. What you do is the following. You take some paint out of your pot each time. If you look closely at the brush, you'll see there's enough paint on it, even at the back. What you need to do is clean the back of your brush against your paint pot. This way, you have a brush that only has paint on the front and not on the back. That's what you need to do every time. Click on the video on the screen now to learn my technique for painting along the seals.